It is time for your first speech, your introduction speech. And the purpose of this speech is to give you a little bit of experience talking in front of an audience. The grade's not important on this one. It doesn't count for hardly anything. It's just to give you more comfort and more opportunities to get up and talk. I want you to introduce yourself to me. And there are a couple of goals that I want you to try to work on as you do this. First of all, varied eye contact and conversational delivery. But before I talk about those, let's look at the speech itself. You are going to introduce yourself to me and to your other classmates. Tell us your name, your major, and a little bit of why you majored in that. And then you can pick a few of extracurricular activities, families, hobbies, favorites, anything that you would like to say about yourself. The other thing I want you to do is bring an item from home that represents you and tell us a little bit about it. So you will need a prop to use for this speech. It can be anything you want. Don't bring your cell phone. That's way too easy. You know, find something. Sometimes people bring a picture of their family or a surfboard, or I've had a guy one time bring a big old chunk piece of his truck. Whatever you feel like represents you and you'd like to talk about. But let's look at those eye contact and what you're aiming for and how you can also achieve conversational delivery. First of all, eye contact. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to look over the audience heads. If I was demonstrating this for you in real life, you could see that it looks really strange. It may look fine if you were in a giant auditorium, but for a classroom setting with 30 people, or you can have less than that probably, it looks weird. Sometimes the speaker will pick a person in the audience and focus on them the whole time, and oftentimes that person is me. It makes me uncomfortable. If it's somebody else in the audience, it makes them uncomfortable, but you want to look around at various people. You don't want to focus on the same person the whole time you're talking. The oscillating robot head. This is where, you know how a fan that turns on and it kind of rotates back and forth, fanning the whole room? Sometimes people try to do that with their heads, and besides looking strange and potentially giving you a crick in the neck, it's not natural. So what you do want to do is you will have your notes in your hand, and I'll talk about your notes in a second, but you will look down at your notes for a few seconds, look up, pick somebody in the audience and make eye contact with them for just 1 or 2 seconds, and then look over at somebody else for just 1 or 2 seconds, somebody else for 1 or 2 seconds, and back down at your notes as often as you need to. So you don't have to have prolonged eye contact with anybody. Just moving your eyes around the room and focusing on somebody for just a few seconds as you talk to them. Now, the other thing about eye contact on a topic like this, you know yourself. You're introducing yourself. You are not going to have your eyes glued to your notes. Your notes are just a guideline to help you remember what you wanted to say about yourself. So just bullet points, brief ideas, which leads me well into the next one, conversational delivery. Conversational delivery, you want it to feel like you're just talking to a group of friends, you're just talking to a small group of people, not like you're giving a formal speech. So how you achieve conversational delivery is, first of all, I do not want you to write out your speech word for word. I don't want you to come in with a whole paragraph or page filled solid with information and get up and read it. That's not speech. That's reading an English paper out loud to your class. So you're going to have an outline, and this is going to be your first time putting together an outline, and you don't even have to turn it in. It's just for you. But it's going to be keywords and phrases. So just a brief summary of the things you want to talk about. So maybe I want to tell them that I'm an Astros fan and we travel around to see ballparks. I would probably go ahead and list those ballparks on my piece of paper because I can never remember them. I always have to kind of go back and think through. So I would jot down that information. Or maybe I wanted to talk about my favorite movie was The Godfather, and I might write The Godfather down just so I remember to talk about that movie when I talk about my favorites. So just brief information to remind you of what you wanted to say. You don't have to have complete sentences or a lot of detail. Which leads me to the next one. It's okay to have a complete sentence here and there, but for the most part, just avoid them because, again, you don't want to read it out loud. Now, here's the trick on this. You will use key words and key phrases, but you're going to have practiced this speech out loud at home before you actually do it for the first time. This is really important. Think about if you've ever played sports, or if you've ever been in a choir or a band or any type of event where you have to perform in front of a group. When you stand up there to run that football play or to sing that song with your choir, that's not the first time you've done it when you get on the stage to do it in front of an audience. You have done it tons of times before then. And the same thing is true with a speech. Don't wait until it's the day of the speech and you stand up there to say it for the first time. Practice it out loud ahead of time. Because you'll have been practicing off of those key words and phrases, you're going to get comfortable with how you're going to say it, but it's also going to come out how you really talk. That's the goal of conversational delivery. I don't want this to sound stiff and formal. I want this to sound like the way that you talk when you talk to people. We write differently than we talk. And so it's very important to try to learn to, it's called extemporaneous speaking, to play off of your notes in a conversational tone without having it written out in paragraph format. So for this speech, there's nothing actually to turn into me. If you are recording it again, you'll be submitting your video. If you're doing it in person, you'll come to the location at the appointed time, and you'll just get up and you'll do your speech. Make sure your notes are legible, that you can actually read them, so that's not an issue. You can type them if you want. You can highlight things. You can write them in, felt tip markers in 20 different colors if you like that. It doesn't matter because I'm not even going to see it. So good luck, and I look forward to meeting all of you and hearing your introduction speeches.